You're listening to The Boy and the Bear. You might have noticed, but it's been a month since our last pod. Pretty uneventful, boys, eh?
Pretty uneventful, eh? Like one boy's in Asia. Brilliant. And that's why I want to quit.
Hi, Scott.
Konnichiwa, Pat.
Oh, well, listen, boys, straight into it. Yeah, compliments, please. You first, please, Pat.
Well, I would like to compliment Rangers on the fact that, you know, after the Queen's Park game, they realised that there's definitely talent in the lower leagues and decided to appoint a manager with experience in both League One and League Two. Well done, Rangers.
Sacked from both as well.
Yeah.
I think what you failed to mention there, Patrick, is that you missed out on staunch points, okay? He's going to rally the troops. He's going to get the MyGer subscriptions back up. That's what it's all about.
Do you know what I was laughing about a lot? Do you remember when we went and seen Dumbarton? Who were they playing? Is it Kelly?
It was Alloa.
Alloa.
Yeah.
Barry Ferguson was manager.
Yep.
And it was like Barry Ferguson and Bob Malcolm were that scene out of Chewing the Fat.
Yeah.
When the manager and assistant.
Yeah.
To skin this one, aye.
You couldn't write it. Like,
No.
Honestly, I was stunned. I genuinely thought that I'd been sent a link to like a joke account, like a parody account, and then I had to and then you verified it, Scott, by going, yeah, no, it's actually happening. Like,
are we actually going to get a real compliment, or?
Well, the other compliment I had in mind was, you know, fair play to Rangers for trying to restore the relationship with the BBC by just appointing Sports Scene.
It's one way to avoid negative criticism. You know, when the pundits work for you. You know, so
who's going to present Sports Scene now? Like, you're going to have to wheel the.
It's just going to be Stephen Thompson going to Ibrox, changing him by himself, going, "Hello, Barry, you got a quick word for your pal, Barry."
It might be the only job that Kevin Thompson gets. He must be absolutely fuming.
No, he's coming in to work in the academy. I think he's going to be the new head of the academy.
Are you joking?
No, I'm being serious.
Oh my God, seriously?
Yeah, he's coming in the academy in some sort of role. I don't know if it's either the head of academy or the head coach of the under-18s or something like that. He's involved in
what academy?
Phase. Well, this is true.
Do you know that Ricky Gervais office meme? It's like, go and get the. It feels like it's like you're a ball here from like, oh, go and get Sasa Papac.
Did I see you send Leon King out on loan to Queen's Park?
Yes. If you can't beat them, join them is the motto of Rangers.
So the boy that got hooked at half time?
No, that was Bailey Rice.
Apologies.
Bailey Rice.
Leon King was playing, was he not?
Nope. Leon King can't get a game.
Scott, what was your reaction when you appointed Sports Scene?
I don't have any emotions anymore. It's just
first of all, your compliment, please.
Well, my compliment. Just that I've said it a few times, and I'll say it again. It's the one thing that's different is the mentality. You guys lost. Well, was it a draw? Lost the other week. Who did you?
To Bayern.
To Hibs. Aye.
Yeah, we lost to Hibs.
Aye. So like that. You don't really lose many matches in the league, so that could have had a knock-on effect, or but you just went out and smashed the next team, and we, you lost that. We didn't capitalise on our game.
Do you know, I saw a stat is every time Celtic have dropped points this season, Rangers have then dropped points again on the same
but
week.
That's
apart from when you beat us.
But that's the mentality thing. Do you mean it's like you drop points? Now I'm not saying that we would have been able to recover the league at all. That's not what I'm saying. But
good.
It looks, you drop the points. It takes us back. We win that game. It takes us back down to 10. So it's just about clawing back as much as you can and trying to make it as tight as possible.
Barry knows what it's all about. So
yeah, we'll get into that one. But that's my compliment to you, is that Celtic have that mentality. Despite a little hiccup here and there, they get up, they dust themselves.
So even in your compliment to Celtic, you've managed to turn it into a negative against Rangers.
That's what I'm here for.
Cool.
But Scott, it's okay because they're wearing brown brogues again. There's no headphones when you come off the bus.
I don't want this episode to be a complete negative on Rangers.
No,
of course you don't.
He's invested. He's part of the new investment board.
I'm sick of this being the Boy podcast. So I'm as much as possible.
It's not
Rangers
the Boy
fans,
podcast. Like, I can't control Rangers' results.
Excuse me. As much as possible, I would like to try and make it as even as possible. It's been a while, so what we've done is we have prepared some questions for each other. Let's just get straight into it, boys. Paddy, you're up first, mate.
Scotty, what hurt more? The defeat to Queen's Park or Celtic overtaking the Trophy Hall?
I don't know. I've in the words of Ian Beale, I've got nothing left. I don't know. I'm gonna just go with the Trophy Hall. I think that just sums everything up. You know that you mentioned there as a wee quick jibe about the brown brogues and the suits and no headphones, etc. But there is a standard that has slipped. You know that there's a standard that has slipped from the whole club.
Tav forgot to take his brogues off.
Fucking put his slippers on, I think. But I just think that one probably hurt the most, or because we could have done something about that. That you can accept the odd result against a team in the cup. It is a cup, right? That's what cup games are about. Sometimes if you don't have the right attitude to going into it, you can be on the wrong side of a loss, right? It's not the be all and end all, but I think the loss of trophies and getting that overtaken when we've been able to control, or have a say in it, that hurts the most. I think as a Rangers fan, I think most Rangers fans would say that would be the bigger issue, like having lost all the trophies.
Simply the second best.
Aye, better than the rest. I don't know about that one.
Your first question to Pat, please, Scott.
My first question to Patrick is, so obviously Celtic got through to the knockout phase of the Champions League, and that's a fantastic result for you boys, it really is. But I think you get to look at the teams that you picked up points from, and there's a question to be had. Was it the luck of the draw that why you got through, or was it down to the Celtic and Rodgers have finally cracked the code on how to perform in Europe?
Good question, fair question. I think both things can be true at the same time. Yes, I mean, we were buzzing with the draw that we got. It was about, the easiest draw we could have got in terms of the teams we played, and particularly the teams we played at home. But I think that then cancelled itself out because the team that we got in the next round was Bayern Munich, or it would have been Real Madrid, so like, and again, to use another cliche, there are genuinely no easy games in the Champions League, which is
when on the flip side of that, Real Madrid played Man City. So
well, exactly, yeah. So I mean, I think our luck sort of ran out in terms of our draw, but you could equally also say that we definitely did learn from European games through the course of the season. When you look at the Dortmund game and how we were cut open, that could have finished 12-1. We were almost in a way lucky that it finished 7. But then a couple of tweaks and we're drawing away to Atalanta. I still think we're one of the only teams that they've not scored against this season, particularly, at home. And our home form was great. Like we didn't lose a game until the Bayern Munich game. And even that was only a sort of a 2-1 defeat. So I think you have to credit Rodgers because he came in, and I've said this a bunch of times in this pod, he said, I'm coming in here to make a mark in Europe. You can't question that that's what he's done. Like, that last minute goal from Bayern Munich is the only thing that stopped us from taking them to extra time, and no one would have given a hope of Celtic doing that before Rodgers came in. So yes, I think Rodgers deserves enormous credit. I think if we're going to do better in next season's Champions League, is obviously we need to qualify for it first. We need to make further signings so that we're sort of stronger in every department, and I think KT coming in will help that, but I want to see more. I want to see another striker come in
for the 3 games that will be available before it breaks down.
All I was going to say, Scott, is that Atalanta actually haven't scored in their last 3 home games, just to help you out. That Celtic weren't.
Thanks, pal. Thanks. What areas would you need to strengthen to compete at that next stage of the
Jeffrey Schlupp, who's been a great signing, is to not stay at Celtic, which I don't think he will. That will leave us with maybe just Tierney, because I'm not sure Greg Taylor will stay, so we need another left back. I think we need another high quality centre half and right back, because Ralph's in the Champions League or Scales in the Champions League. Can they be fully trusted? Possibly not. We'd need a striker like Maeda. has been an absolute revelation in playing up front. He's hitting crazy numbers. I think since January he's scored 12 goals, which is unbelievable stuff from a that's Larsson sort of levels of goal return. He's been unbelievable. But we do
think
need
he
a
can play
striker.
for Barcelona then?
Maeda.
Aye.
No, don't say it because he thinks he can.
Right now, I
Oh,
think
have you
he's
said
one of
that?
Oh my god. Oh no. Surely not, mate.
right now, Daizen is
You seen the glow in his eyes there when you said it.
Well, he's done it against Bayern Munich, so why not?
Lewandowski shite.
Well, it doesn't press runners anywhere near like Maeda would. No, I don't think that's out of the question.
That's absolutely out of the question.
That's up there with Kyogo going to Man City. Do you know what I mean?
He's got some of the best stats in the Champions League. He scored in the Champions League. He scored against Bayern. All the Bayern players, by all accounts, were raving about Maeda after the game.
I'm really glad you've gone away for a month around Asia, and this has helped you clarify your brain that Maeda can play for Barcelona.
You don't think Maeda could move on to a higher level?
Yeah, but there's a level in between Celtic and Barcelona.
Of course it is, but
there's actually 2 or 3 levels between Celtic and Barcelona.
He's been a standout in the Champions League. He's done it.
Can you imagine Rafinha playing for Celtic on the left wing? It would be like, I mean, Jota's been brilliant since he came back, but Jota's moved on to 2 clubs and couldn't get a game for Rennes, and look how good he looks in a Celtic jersey. Like there's
did
levels,
you guys watch?
You can do it in one.
Did you watch Maeda against Bayern?
Absolutely did.
Right,
yeah,
I don't understand how you have this opinion then.
Well,
it's one game though. I mean, it's one game.
Yeah,
one game.
It's 2 games, and he's done it all. He was our best player in the Champions League this season. He's played 10 games.
I scored a hat trick when I was 12. I'm sitting here doing a podcast with youth too, aren't I? So like,
yeah, you're not playing for Celtic in the Champions League, mate. Sorry to remind you. Or nationally for Japan, where he plays up front. I don't think
that could have been if you watched that one game.
I don't think it's ridiculous. So here idea at all.
I'm going to come back to this. We're going to part this because I'm going to ask you.
Sorry, hang on. Steve's just compared himself to Maeda. Can we talk about that?
You just compared Maeda to Rafinha. I reckon it's probably close. There's levels, mate.
You need to check your ego.
Maeda could not play for Barcelona.
I reckon the gap between you and Maeda's slightly larger than the gap between Maeda and
I was just making a point. Like, in one game, it's...
Great point, mate.
He's getting a bit angry with this, Scott.
He's getting very angry with this.
It's my turn for a question as well. It's for Pat. Pat, what part of you feels jealous that despite being a shit show, Rangers are once again playing European football past Celtic?
Ask me again in a couple of weeks.
I'm not. I'm asking you now.
After Fenerbahce.
I'm asking you now.
Yeah, just answer it, can he?
Well, there's levels, isn't there? Like,
apparently not.
This is the competition below the Champions League. I'm not jealous of Rangers at this moment in time.
Cool. Any part of you feel that Rangers games in the Europa League were more difficult than Celtic's Champions League games?
No. You got Ange struggling at Tottenham and Man United struggling with Amarin as your toughest games. Not having that.
No.
I think Olympiacos is a harder beat than Young Boys, and so harder team.
Okay, well, how come they're not in the Champions League then?
Because they didn't qualify, but they won the league. Go.
So you still there, Scott?
Are you still there? Are you away to Barcelona to try and sign Daizen Maeda? Yeah.
You guys you've not been watching the same games that I have. Then Maeda's been
because we don't have green tinted specs on, my friend.
Maeda has been objectively one.
Yeah, he's been very good for his season.
But he was different playing.
He was awful last year in the Champions League. Wasn't he that good in the Champions League last year?
He wasn't awful last year.
I can just see his screen light up. He's looking for stats. It's very different when you.
They've said bad things about Maeda.
It's very different when you play for Celtic as a counter-attack team. He is an incredible counter-attacking player. That's why he's so good for Japan. I don't doubt
an engine on him.
But he doesn't have the technical ability to play for Barcelona, mate. And the fact that you genuinely believe that, we'll leave that up to. Do you know what? Do you know what? We'll put this up as a clip on our Instagram and on our TikTok, and we'll do a poll. Okay, that'll settle it. There we go.
Yep. Okay. This is going to be like the Atletico Madrid thing, innit?
It won't be, because I'll admit that was close. That's what you just said is ridiculous.
I don't think you guys have been watching close enough then. Honestly, did you see the goals he scored?
Mate, you didn't even watch the game. You were in Japan.
I did watch the game. I got up at 5 a.m. for it.
I actually watched it with Scott.
Was it Mediator?
Well, it's more.
Yeah.
Right, Fat, it's your next question.
Scott, if Jeff Day was worth 10 million and Jack Bolton worth 30 million, how much are they worth now?
I never said Jack was worth 30.
Rangers fans did.
Well, the Scottish media isn't me, and I didn't say 30. I said
Scottish media is now your management team.
Yeah, well, true. Yeah, the pundit. Okay, maybe you do have a fair point if the Daily Record crew are in my dugout. But I think Yefty, he's a young player. I think people forget he's only just turned 21, right? And this is his first season at a higher level, in football.
Linked to Chelsea, I think it was.
Right, Kyogo was linked to Man City, then he pops to middle tier French first team football. I mean,
what are they called?
Rennes or something. I don't know. Is it Rennes?
Don't worry about the standard of it, mate, because Jota couldn't get a game for them either.
That's true. But my point, it doesn't matter. That's all speculation. I think Yefty will go on to be a good player. He's a young lad. This is his first full season in Scottish football. I think this is the thing that is particularly fans of Scottish football, especially Rangers and Celtic fans, we get a wee bit caught up. Oh, he's terrible. Because he's had a few bad mistakes. He's learning his trade as a defender. Do I think he could play? I think he should be pushed up.
What's he worth, Scott? What's he worth?
Right now?
Yes.
Between 5 and 9, I would say.
So not 10.
5 and 9 pence.
No, but not 9. Well, no, you're asking me right now. I think it's between 5 and 9.
Okay,
right, Jack Button's probably a free. He's been dropping clanger after clanger, so I don't know.
I thought he was the best keeper in Britain.
He was until Gareth Southgate
ready for an England
blew him off. Pat, would you just?
So you've just done the same thing to me about Maeda.
I haven't.
Just because you're getting riled now.
I am not. Look at me right now.
Not once did anybody say Jack Butland could play for Barcelona, mate.
No,
England apparently.
But he was close. The England manager came to watch him, and what I was about to say, if he would allow me the time and the decency to answer the question that's been posed, thank you very much. See, notice the demeanour? Not angry. Just like woosah, Cam.
It's not had an answer.
I'm just getting to it. I've been rudely interrupted several times. Jack Butland was at one point before the England call up, or didn't they call up? I would say he was the best keeper in the league.
Wow.
Now, no chance. He'd go for anything more than 5-6 million. That would be his top. I mean, I still think there's a lot of admirers down south for him, but I don't think
he'll be your keeper next season.
Nah, I think he might. Wow. I think he might want to go. Or you don't know. Everything's up in the air, and this is the thing, because we will get a new manager. We're getting a new board. They might have a different direction. They might want to completely strip it and just go for all youth product. I don't know. You don't know. So these things, it's really hard to answer. But I think a lot of the team won't be here next season. So yeah.
That's a shame.
Aye, for you guys it is. Aye. For the Rangers supporting my mental health, and it's going to be fantastic. So I might just stick to the podcast just in the off chance we improve.
Scotty, did you ask 2 of your questions to Pat in one go there?
No, it was kind of a one and a bit of a follow up, really. So
you're up next, mate. What's your second main question?
It was the whole Maeda thing. Obviously with Kyogo going, is he as big of a loss as first feared, or is it the Daizen Barcelona extraordinaire?
He's a new best since Larson.
Yeah. So is Kyogo a big loss, or has that been eased by the form of Maeda? And can he sustain that over an actual season playing as a striker?
I'm glad I'm going to get the chance to speak about Maeda more, rather than you guys just laughing through what I'm trying to say.
Well, I'll laugh at you, but yeah.
So, I loved Kyogo. I really do think he was the best Celtic striker since Larson. He did it on a consistent basis. He scored goals against Rangers all the time. He was great in Europe. Wonderful player, wonderful guy. Really sort of re-energised the Celtic support when he signed. But we've said all this already. I was gutted to see him go. I've not changed my opinion that we needed to sign a striker when he left, because we replaced him with nothing, or we replaced him with Johnny Kenny, which is ridiculous. I don't think anybody saw this hot streak from Maeda coming. I genuinely don't think you guys have watched what he's been like since January, since Kyogo left. If you're if you're like laughing and deriding that comment. If he sustains this, he will, like, at the moment he's playing better than Pete Kyogo was. He is on the form of his life right now. If he reverts to type and, loses his first touch again, it becomes indecisive. Of course he's not good enough for a team like Barcelona. He was, of course he's not. Right now, he is in the form of his life. St Mirren, they'll go and get St Mirren, he cuts inside and finish it. Is like, unlike any finishing I've seen at Celtic recently. If Maeda sustains this, there is no chance he's at Celtic next season. Or next
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there has to be a bit of perspective. So Kyogo's gone to Rennes.
Mm-hmm.
He started one game. He got subbed in the 66th minute. He was on the bench for the full next game. He's played 18 in one game since then. He's on the bench for the last two. Didn't even get off the bench.
Yeah, but I don't think that's a reflection on the standard of where Celtic are at. The manager that signed Kyogo was sacked days after Kyogo arrived, so he probably doesn't suit the manager who's just come in. There's a lot of variables. Jota clearly was not happy, like genuinely happy as a person at the club he was at, particularly in Saudi, and he feels re-energized in terms of, like, we don't know what's going on in personal lives, but he's closer to being the player he was at the time.
I'm not disputing Celtic. I'm not disputing Celtic's that type of club. Both, to be fair, both teams, Rangers and Celtic, have a history of doing that, where they can put arms around players and make them feel loved, and the fan bases are superb for that.
But sometimes players suit certain clubs and certain managers.
Absolutely,
I'm
not disputing that. Just a bit of reality on maybe the standard. Listen,
Maeda plays up front for Japan and has been a regular for ages. Japan are no slouches. And listen, Rodgers didn't want to play Maeda up front. That's the great irony in all of this. Rodgers was raging at not getting another striker, so he had to play Maeda up front, and there's no chance he saw this form coming. But maybe Maeda's been the answer all along. We've just been playing him on the wing. But honestly, guys, go back and watch his goals, like all 12 of them or whatever, including ones against Bayern, since Kyogo left. If he sustains it, he's not going to be at Celtic. It's a ridiculous streak of form. If it ends, in a couple of weeks or next month, it's still a ridiculous season from the guy. Yeah. He's undoubtedly Celtic's Player of the Year. He's better than Kuhn's been. He's better than Jota's been since he's come back. He's Celtic's most important player, I'd say, up there with Carter Vickers and Kasper Schmeichel and Cal McGregor. I'd be amazed if we still have Daizen next season. I don't know if you saw the article, but Eric Dyer said that the entire Bayern Munich changing room were asking Carter Vickers, because Carter Vickers and Dyer knew each other from Tottenham. There's a really interesting article saying that they couldn't stop talking about Maeda and his running. And
he's an incredible runner.
Yeah,
he's got the best stats and interceptions and miles tracked and track it in the Champions League.
That only suits certain teams.
Of course.
That's different than being a clinical finisher
which he also is now. That's what I'm saying. Scott, you need to go back and watch his games and all that since
2 months don't make you an elite striker, mate.
No,
sorry,
they don't.
It doesn't make you an elite striker.
But on his form right now, he could play for anybody. He's been unbelievable.
You just mocked me for going to Chelsea next season, right? I mean, you're saying
forgive me, but Maeda's been operating at a higher level than Hefty has for the last few years.
And he's a lot older. He's a lot older. But the point is that you're saying that Daizen could play for Barcelona. Based on
current form,
based on a month and a half.
No, a season. He's been fantastic this season.
Right, and so Cyril, by that account, Cyril Dessers can play for Real Madrid then, because he's got 20 goals.
His all-round game is pish, and you want him out your club.
Right, and Daizen Maeda's all-round game, his touch is just as bad as Dessers.
Not at the moment, Scott. You've not been watching.
Dessers is in the form of his life too. He's been buying them in the last couple of games.
Like I say, there's levels, mate. You enjoy the Europa League against Fenerbahce.
At least we're still in Europe, eh? Right.
I'll happily watch my team play, narrowly lose to Bayern in the Champions League.
That's fine, pal. You do what you want. You enjoy your one-way ticket to Barcelona.
If it makes you feel any better, I watched it in a Celtic bar with Scotty, and you should have seen his face when Celtic scored. It was worth it. Scotty, who do you think is more devastated? Clement for getting sacked, or Bob Malcolm for being the only bear Ferguson's clocked eyes on in the last 20 years not to get offered a job?
I think Bob Malcolm would be ripping up his Barry Ferguson posters, and getting rid of his Barry Ferguson duvet cover, I think he'll be probably devastated. I think Clement will probably be happy that he's now out of the firing line and he can.
He's just point, actually. I didn't think about that. Do you think there is a bit of Clement that's like, oh, thank God I'm out of there?
Oh, I think so. I think you look at him when he first came in to when he left. Like he did look a bit dishevelled, and he looked like he hadn't slept in it. Aye, and obviously it's a high pressured environment. It's going to take its toll, and especially when things aren't going right.
Like you bought your Voldemort on Wish.
It came. I think the reason it didn't work out for him, amongst not being able to get the players to buy in, I think he didn't really help himself. You know, he came in and criticised the previous regime about fitness, etc. Said we were going to be a hard-working team. We're going to be the most hard-working team in the league. We're going to be the most physical. We're going to be the fittest, and we're none of those things. We're so. You look at the defence, for example. He was talking about being physical. The defenders are proud of Puff, don't want to go and head a ball. That's been happening all season, right? And I just don't think he helped himself. So that's why I feel like he had to go, and that's why I feel like he will probably be relieved that he's no longer having to deal with the constant barrage and backlash from the fans and the media.
Scott, it reminds me of like how the English media are constantly going on about how, you know, they're berating Ruben Amorim and they tore apart Ten Hag and they tore apart like Solskjaer, blah blah blah. Like, but I think it does come down to a point where you actually just need to refresh almost the entire playing staff.
Yeah,
it's the only common denominator you've got. Yeah. So it's either like it's somewhere between the players and the boardroom, and the manager's one that suffers as a result. Do you think that's the same thing with Rangers? Do you think players like Tavernier and Goldson, but he's gone. But
no, but I think
do you think you're the problem?
I don't think it's like a one, like they're the sole problem. I do not think that for a moment. I think it's a combination of a lot of factors. Could be personnel in the dressing room. It could be the players that we're buying just don't have the right mentality or don't understand the demands that are placed. It's not a case of, I mean, you listened to Robin Proper a few months ago when he first came in, and he said, "Oh, it's a bit different, you know, from what I'm used to. You know, I'm able to at FC20 win every 1 in 3 games, but here you've got to win every game, and that's quite a mentality shift." And I think there's those elements. I think the board, the whole, I don't want to swear, but the whole mess that they've created, you know, with the whole moving at Hampden, well, the refurb at Ibrox got Hampden. Okay, props to them. They've built, you know, a good quality disabled facility, and it was about time. It needed to happen, but they got their timings all wrong. It messed everything up from the start of the season. You know, they've recruited players that just aren't suited to Scottish football. I mean, it's like, take for example, so before we move on, but the Jose Cifuentes signing, you know, like he signs, looks like a good player. He's got, you know, a lot of good write-ups, a lot of, you know, Ecuadorian. And he comes to Scotland, he's like, "Oh, I didn't realise it was going to be this cold." And it's like, who's signing players like that? You know, who is authorising these things? You know,
just to use the Man United example, and I mean, Rangers have been through a amount of teams now. Man United have been through a cycle of players. Man United have been through a cycle of 3-4 players, and to use one of their players as an example, look at Amad Diallo. Like, how has that player not thrived at Rangers? And when you listen to the ex-players that played alongside him at Rangers, it wasn't an attitude problem. Like, no. I don't know if anybody's read the quotes into him and stuff. Like, he was an exceptionally hard trainer and great mentality, and thought he would deserve to be. So it goes beyond that. There's a common denominator, and it is behind the scenes, and it's the puppet masters not in control of the show.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's a multitude of factors. It's not just a.
And I do think the fans have to play a little bit of a part.
Yeah,
like, I don't care who you are, right? And we're all human beings, right? Can you imagine going to work and knowing you've not had your best day and already been disappointed with yourself, and as you walk out your place of work, getting abused to the level they're getting abused by,
or you go to your coffee shop in the morning,
they're getting abused by.
Yeah.
Like,
I get you. I totally
and then
agree.
You're expected to then pop back out 2 days later and try and put in a high level performance for a club that's.
Yeah,
I don't think that's ever going to change though with Celtic or Rangers. I think that's the nature of the beast.
I think I do agree with you.
I think the manager can certainly help with that, and I think if the manager's got strength. So if that happened now to a Celtic player, we had this conversation before, and we didn't agree on it. But the Greg Taylor situation, look at the strength and resolve that your manager came out and defended a player with. Like, so I suppose it depends on.
Yeah, I do think I think it depends on a multitude of factors for a fan's point of view. You can maybe agree or disagree, Pat, but I think a lot of the fans will let you off on occasion, or the majority of level-headed fans will let you off on an occasion if you have a bad performance, right? But as long as they can see that you're actually doing the basics, the hard working, you're running, you're doing the bare minimum as a day, and it might just be that your passes are off, or you've tried a few things and it's just not come off for you, right? I think level-headed fans will sit and go, it's just a bad result.
Sometimes
right?
You need the manager to be brave enough and call out the fans. When Rodgers said, "This is the way I play it. If we pass it backwards, don't boo us."
Yeah, exactly.
It's to start another attack. But I think the problem with Rangers is that managers seem to pander to fans, and they give the fans almost too much power. Like it happened to Beale, who just came out with empty words. Gio van Bronckhorst was a decent football manager who was hounded out, I think. Then you had but that's why the Barry Ferguson appointment is so ridiculous, because all you're employing is someone to come out and see these words that the fans want to hear. He's not a football manager.
I do think, though, we all know that change is imminent at Rangers, right? Obviously there's the news today about the takeover, right? That is going to be completed in the next couple of weeks. Is there, you don't know if the new board have said, we don't want a permanent manager. We will look at what's happening with this review that's been conducted behind the scenes about the whole football club, the whole operation of Rangers. They've maybe said, just get somebody in the door, cheap. End of the season, cheap, that would be willing to come in right away. We don't have to pay anybody out of any contract or whatever it is.
Football manager you could have got for that. What about McCoist? If you're going to get someone who's
I get that, but you don't know if he doesn't want to, though. Yeah. I mean, he's a wee bit. Well, he's got Champions League. He's down in London most of the time. I just think it's probably a bit of both, like circumstantial. Barry's been available, right, and he's been willing to do it. And he's not really got. He's maybe got clauses in his contracts with Go Radio, etc. They can just,
by the way, just because he is taking someone abuse, fair play to him.
Yeah, no, exactly.
That's an easy thing to take. No. Like, actually, as an individual, like you've got to have some bottle to go in and step in and do that job. Because you'll know.
There is a reason that it's only for a few months. Now, I'd understand the whole, for God's sake, it's Barry is a permanent manager. He's not a permanent manager. He will not be back at Rangers in a managerial coaching capability at all.
Back to his role, yeah.
Yeah, and he'll be an ambassador, and I think it's right. But I just think it all maybe stems from this new takeover, and they'll be wanting to see the full results of this inquiry into the Rangers.
Do you think he played a 4-4-2 at Go Radio?
I don't know. Maybe it was a 4-4-2. I don't know what he was trying. I think just ending on the whole Barry thing. I watched the game obviously against Motherwell, and I get it. I get it. He's trying to put himself in a shop window for other jobs as well. But
I've heard Clyde Winner recruiting.
No, well, he's talked all season. He said that he's watched Rangers all season, right? But what does he do? He still plays Robin proper, right? We've got this boy Rafa Fernandez, and he's barely played, and we're told that this is a potential signing for the future. It's a kind of loan move with a potential. So why is he not getting a game?
Or you've also got to remember, though, Scotty. The other thing I feel a little bit sorry for Barry Ferguson is I'd love to actually know how many training sessions he's been able to have.
I know. I was you're right. That's mother.
Because he's just been wheeled out to the media every single day for the last.
He said
10
himself,
days.
I've had an hour with them before his first game, and then I think he's had one session before the Motherwell game, and that's the one that they've lost. So it's a mess. Scott, would you rather Celtic beat you 5-0 and you went through against Fenerbahce, or Fenerbahce beat you over 2 legs and you win against Celtic?
I would take the Celtic victory, mate.
Would you actually? Such a small-minded man.
All right, 10-piece head.
What's a victory against Celtic going to do you this season?
Just restore some hope until the end of the season, okay? Nah, but I know it depends. If it's in a hypothetical that we beat Fenerbahce and go at the final and win the final, then obviously I'm going to say the Fenerbahce.
Well, you can't do that if you lose to Fenerbahce.
Well, obviously not. But I'm honestly I'm more nervous about the Celtic game than I am the Fenerbahce.
We're a better team than them. Look at the pair he is. Tweedledum and Tweedledee.
Says what Johan Laporta's right hand man. Oh, hello, Johan. I've got a player called Daizen Maeda. He's brilliant. Would you like to sign him? Away.
You've lost your mind, mate.
I haven't lost my mind. I'm just trying to answer your question.
So Celtic, you'd rather beat Celtic?
I'd rather beat Celtic, yeah.
Cool, yeah.
Well, what, as a fellow Bears, Stephen, as everyone seems to think you are, what would be yours?
I'd actually like to say that I am actually going to that Celtic Rangers game, and I'm sitting in the Celtic end, so
good.
Those rumours will be dispelled, or at least evened out.
He'll be wearing his hoop top.
How about that, Scotty? The moment Rangers fans are allowed back in the stadium, and Steve's straight there, eh?
He's been waiting for this.
Just a mediator of all things old firm, to be honest with you.
I look forward to you mediating the Celtic Rangers fans in the stadium. That'd be good.
A better job than G4S. Scotty, your last question for Pat, please, mate.
Okay, so we touched on it ever so slightly, but Jota, return of a king or a fallen hero? Has he returned to Celtic because he can't cut it any elsewhere, or is it just because circumstances have presented the opportunity for him to return home?
I think we kind of touched on this earlier, didn't we? About sort of certain clubs and styles and managers suiting different players. I think Jota is no different. I think I sort of alluded to the struggles he had in his personal life when he went out to Saudi and then going to Rennes. It just hasn't worked out for him, in the same way that Diallo didn't work out at Rangers, went back and played at United.
Diallo's a lone player, mate. It's like we...
No, but he was still, he still didn't suit whatever it was that Rangers were trying to get him to do. Jota got that move because he was an unbelievable player and he did it at a high level. And some of the goals and assists he got at Celtic the first time round under Ange were unbelievable. And he's come back and he's shown that if anything, he's still not match fit, but he already looks leaner, he already looks sharper. He's scoring goals again. It's a brilliant signing from Celtic.
It's an unbelievable signing. But I did have a question for you on it. Do you think sometimes he can flatter to deceive because of 9 games, 3 goals, 1 assist? That's what he's had since he rejoined Celtic. Now he was brilliant against Bayern.
Not all of them have
all starts. I'll caveat that. Yeah, but not has he? And has he shown that he's at a level above anything else in Scottish football still, like he did first time he was here, or
is
he an instant starter next season? Is basically what I'm asking.
It's a good question. At the moment, he's operating at the same level as Kuhn was at the start of the season. Daizen's the star of the show at the moment, but what hasn't gone away is Jota's technical ability. Like when I saw him, he was one of my favourite Celtic wingers of the past 20 years. He's got skill. He's the kind of player that makes you want to stand up and get off your seat, and he's exciting to watch. And my fear was when he re-signed I was like, are we going to watch? Is this going to be quite a sad story? Like Scott says, a fallen hero. Are we going to watch someone who's just completely gone off the boil and doesn't have it anymore? That's not the case. And if he's already got 3 goals and assists, and this is meant to be him, not match fit, I can't wait to see what he's like with the pre-season under his belt. Because peak Jota is better than anything Celtic are going to be able to sign this summer with our budget. So
can I just come back in there? Got a wee follow-up for that one. Mm-hmm. So as you're saying, if he manages to recapture the form next season, do you think you'll be able to sell him for the fee that you sold him for the first time around? Because I don't think so. I don't think you'll get anywhere near that level of money again for him. I think
probably not, because it was an inflated Saudi fee.
No, I get that, but even I don't even think you'll get anywhere north of maybe 15, because I think people will look at it and go, he's gone to League One, he's tried a higher level of football and he's not managed to,
but again,
to do that.
If they're judging players on current form, which is what I was doing with Maeda and saying he could play for anyone at the minute, then he did really well against Bayern Munich. It depends on the club. It depends on the right. I don't think Jota would move to Saudi again. I think it would have to be the right move for Jota, but it's too early to talk about him leaving again.
Yeah, I also don't think it would be an English Premier League or something like that. I think it would be a back to the Portuguese league, to a Sport
or a German or something.
Because Benfica came through, wasn't it? So yeah,
who knows?
Something like that.
Who knows? Yes, it's up in there, but I'm delighted to have him back because he's an unbelievable player.
Well, listen, boys. My final question is one for both of you, just to finish off. We've touched upon it a little bit, so I'm going to put in a question format. Does Rangers' potential buyout present the biggest opportunity for Scottish football in our lifetime? And I'll give my own personal. I think it's the biggest thing to happen in Scottish football since our lifetime, and there's no way Pat's ever going to say that. But does it invite? Does it invite and show a model, hopefully, for other clubs to be bought over in Scottish football to really accelerate on?
Die, fail, get bought over.
I do. I think this could have the potential to be a very prominent deal for Scottish football. I do think if this goes well, I think it opens up new markets, and I think if the board of the SPFL are wise, they could capitalise on the attention that Rangers are going to be getting over in the States, and I think that presents a lot of interest in new markets and a lot of new businesses that could potentially come and invest in Scottish football, but they have to do their own part. It can't just obviously be Rangers.
Yeah. The thing for me, and then we'll move on to Pat, is that it's not the fact that they're just being bought out; it's who's actually buying them. Like these guys are no mugs. Like these are serious operators within the sports arena.
You look what they've done with the 49ers. They've transformed them into one of the best franchises out there. You look at what they've taken that same model to Leeds. The Championship in Leeds are now
at a minority level.
Yeah, but it's the same principles that they've taken, and Leeds are operating a lot better than they have previously.
Player signed from Leeds to Barcelona, didn't he? Funny that.
Yeah, Rafinha, although he's not going to be getting a game next season, according to you.
Yeah, Daizen's getting pumped in the mid. But anyway, the point is that I think is exciting. I think there's a model there that they clearly know that works, and I think it can only be a good thing for Rangers. And if Scottish football accepts the help or accepts the access to new markets, I think it could be revolutionary for Scottish football. We've talked about it before, like a kind of streaming service for Scottish football. That could be, one potential avenue to increase fan base across the pond, and I think we'd be stupid to not to take advantage of their expertise in these areas. But again, Scottish football, I'm not holding my breath. It'll be like, it's my ball, I'm going home kind of thing. So, yeah.
Paddy boy, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I know I've spent nearly an hour, slamming Rangers and Scotty, and it's all in love and jest. But I actually hope it does go ahead, and I hope it is a success, because I want to just be able to focus on my own club. And if Rangers did get taken over, then my genuine, sincere hope would be that Celtic's board finally took it a bit more seriously, and to use that as a bit of a wake up call to continue to invest in our squad.
Can start preparing your tifos for next season now.
Yeah, exactly. Start concentrating on next season, and building. Celtic's board, typically, if you're going to level criticism over the last few years, is we didn't build from a position of strength, and we only really reacted when Rangers shocked us, like the semi-final defeat under Dyla. That was what preempted action to get Rodgers in and actually spend some money. If Rangers get taken over, then I hope it has a positive effect on Celtic, and then I suppose you're right, it would then have a benefit on Scottish football. But so yeah, I think it can only be a good thing. I hope that the board that comes in will not just be self-serving lip service, brown brogues, staunch nonsense that comes from Ibrox at the moment, because that's why Rangers are where they are. However, I am glad that they've given us one last banter years moment with Sodds, McCann and Ferguson, and it's just brilliant.
And McGregor. Don't forget McGregor.
McGregor. They actually sacked a real goalkeeping coach to bring in McGregor. So yeah, it's been a fantastic.
Well, Colin Stewart, or one of arguably the greatest ever goalkeeper to play for Rangers. So I mean, aye.
Yeah, I think it's about time Rangers grew up.
I just think I think, as Stephen said, I think these guys are coming in. They're serious operators. They're not going to be messing about,
Scott, do you mean to say that the Rangers are coming?
Yeah, well, let's finish on that, Scotty. Chances of Rangers winning the league next season.
How can you speak?
It's up in the air,
I said chances. I didn't say there was. I just said chances off.
We'll just go 50.
50? Oh, good God.
It's up in the air. This depends. It could go either way. But
I don't even need to ask. I don't even need to ask Pat. I think you're off your chops as well, but don't even need to ask Pat.
But what am I supposed to do? The last time I said, Celtic are going to win the league, I got criticised because I'm not.
When Celtic won the league?
Yeah, but so I'm allowed to stick up for my team, am I not? I've just been berated by the two of you for an hour, so
I thought I was quite fair there.
Well,
I know.
Next season, Scotty, you could have Charlie Mulgrew or Andy Graham in charge. They've also.
No, I'll take Postman Pat and Paddington Bear at this point. So
at least Paddington Bears are wearing the right colours.
My guy.
By the way, Paddington Bear is the next after Barry Ferguson.
Kenny Miller, Chris Boyd, and Stephen Smith.
It's incredible.
Anyway, it's what a return, boys. It's been great.
Well, you've been listening to The Boy and the Bear. You can email us your questions or complaints at theboyandthebear@gmail.com. And please do follow us on Instagram at BoyBearPod, YouTube, The Boy Bear Podcast, and we are now on TikTok under the same banner.
Hail.
Follow. Or should I say, America?
See you next time, boys.